Thanks for checking out my video. If you want to learn more from me, I have a lot of classes on Udemy. You can find the links to a lot of those in the description.
So I'm stepping downstairs into my studio, I guess you could call it, and my man cave, I guess. And, I've been thinking a lot about different things this morning, and I've just got a couple of ideas to shoot out. So, one of the things that can be really, really difficult for people when they're starting to change who they are or how they think or what they do is the reactions that they get from other people. And you might even look at the other people that you hang around with or that you associate yourself with, or even the people that you talk to at work and what you talk to them about. Or it could even be a romantic partner or your family members. And you want something different. Maybe you want to act different. You want to be different. You want more. You want to up level. You want to change how you go about things, how you think and whatnot. And you might have to think about leaving those people behind, or even just putting them at a distance, just leaving them further away from you as far as influence as more farther away than they are now. Now, family members and coworkers and stuff, you can't necessarily, eliminate them out of the picture. Of course, you could change a job or you could excommunicate a family member if the situation calls for it. But, this could even be with romantic partners and, or other situations like that. Me and my lady, we've had friends where when we've started to grow beyond them, we actually have left them behind. And if you've ever heard of the analogy of crabs in a bucket, if you have a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one of them starts to climb out, the other crabs will pull him back down into the bucket. Rather than following his example and getting out of the bucket and going to freedom, those crabs are like, what the heck are you doing? And they pull him back in. And we can have friends and family members that don't want us to change, or they can't fathom it, so they can actually hold us back from our own personal growth. Everyone that you associate with, your family members, your friends, your significant other, they actually have a perception of you rather than knowing who you are. You even have a perception of you that might be holding you back from who you actually could be. I'm never going to be good at this, or, oh, that person is X, Y, and Z. They could never be A, B, and C. And you might get some pushback when they start to change. If you wanted to change how you think or how you act, maybe you want to get up earlier in the morning, maybe you want to change your job, maybe you want to get into an exercise routine, and your partner doesn't want to get into that. So they're like, oh, why don't you just stay in bed? Don't get up and go for a run, stay in bed. That's holding you back, right? We might think about having to let those people go, or having their influence be less by hanging out with them less, or even saying, hey, this is where I'm going, grow with me, or I'm leaving you in the dust. And that can be very, very difficult because, we want to take all of our friends with us on our journeys of growing and changing, but not everybody can grow and change at the same rate. Right? So you can have someone that might have helped you grow at a certain point in your life, and then you might grow beyond that. And then you got to leave those people behind. I've had a bunch of friends along the way where they've really been who I needed at the time, and they're wonderful to hang out with. They helped me to go through certain situations, but then then I started to move beyond them, which is why I stopped hanging out with them so much. Or even certain family members, like when I wanted to change my hair, for example, and I know this is a silly, mundane example, but it still applies. When I wanted to grow my hair out, I had a lot of pushback from my family. Growing up, I always had short hair, and they always made me keep it short. And then when I started to grow it out, oh my God, what are you doing? You're going to look horrible, blah, 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 blah. You need to have your hair short. You got to look professional, yada, yada, yada. And then, you know what? I stopped listening to that. And especially when they moved away and I didn't have their influence anymore, then I grew my hair out. My mom moved out of the state several years ago, and I always had backlash with her growing up about my hair. And So she moved out of the state. I haven't cut my hair since 2017. And my mom came and visited, and she's like, you do look good with long hair. And I said, that's what I've been trying to tell you since I was 17 years old, you see? So that being set free from that influence allowed me to grow into this person that I am with my hair, where I actually feel much, much more confident given the fact that I can do what I want with my appearance. I can grow my hair out. We've even had friends where they want to talk about drama and healing and fixing all of their problems. And therefore, that's all well and good to think, hey, I want to move beyond my problems. But that in itself is a trap, where if all you're doing is focusing on your problems and complaining, and you can have those people to vent to, and you go to them and say, work was terrible, my relationship's terrible, this is terrible, I don't know what I'm going to do, I really want to move beyond this, and I'm just moving into the space of healing and whatnot. Or you can be on the flip side and say, this is what I'm going to do to fix my problem. I'm going to change my job. I'm going to dump that relationship. I'm going to start reading a bunch of books on self-help. I'm going to listen to podcasts on self-help. I'm going to do a lot of meditation and journey work and stuff to fix my stuff. That's taking action on things rather than sitting there and complaining about it. And you can have those people that complain about their problems, or you can have people that take action on their problems. And which ones do you think are going to move on to something else? Because if you're fixing your problems rather than just complaining about them, you're eventually not going to have those problems anymore if you work hard enough at it. If you face yourself and you face the sources of those problems, you're going to then move beyond it. And you're going to have friends that are just sitting there complaining about their problems. And you're going to be so beyond that you're not going to want to sit there and hang out with those people that want to just talk about their problems all the time, because you've moved beyond it, because you're being constructive. This even goes with like when you're growing up. I can remember the last party that I went to when I was like 23, 24 or something, when I was with my ex, where we went over there and everybody was playing beer pong and drinking and stuff back like everyone was still 20, 21, whatever. And I'm sitting there, I'm like 23, 24, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't any fun anymore. I'm so beyond this stuff. So that was the last party I ever went to, and we honestly never saw those people again. And I'm super happy that I did that, because had I kept going to those parties, I would have stayed in that mode of partying, drinking, waiting until Friday, going through the work week and then getting blasted and whatnot. Or I moved beyond that, and then I stopped doing those kinds of things, So sometimes when we want to change, we not only have to change ourselves and how we think and what we do, but we also need to change the people that we are around. Because unless someone is sitting there willing to change with us and making those efforts to change with us, and not just saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, but taking action on those changes and making those changes happen, then we can leave them in the dust. And that's not anything negative. That's saying, I deserve better. I want to put myself first, and I want more. If they want the same, they can stay over there. But I want more, so I'm going to move over here. This is one of the hardest things to learn. Even if you have a coworker where all they want to talk about is work drama, and you don't want to focus on that stuff anymore, maybe you talk to them less. Maybe you could even switch your shift so you're not even talking, so you're not even hanging out with them. Or you change the way that you talk to them, where you talk more of a professional thing rather than a, hey, what's the latest gossip kind of stuff. There's so many people that talk the talk, but when you start walking the walk, they're still sitting there, and you're going to eventually walk away. So you got to think, what do you want, and what action can you take, and who can you take with you? And invite them and see if they'll show up and do the work. Because if they don't, then you don't have any reason to stick with them and let them hold you back. You know what I mean? Let me know if you've had any situations like this where you've had to abandon certain people or move on from certain situations in order to get better and in order to do better. Because when we think about stuff and we take action on things, that's when stuff begins to change. And we all know people that will just talk the talk and not do any action towards that. So let me know if you've had any experiences like this. And as always, you can reach out to me with any questions, comments, complaints, concerns, issues, or even content requests. If you guys want me to make videos on certain topics, I would love the inspiration. So until next time, good hunting.